Hey there, ready to totally crush your natural sciences and technology exam? I thought so. Today, we're going to jump into a super fun quiz on fuels and energy to get your brain warmed up and ready to go. Okay, let's do this. Here's how it's going to work. I'll throw a question your way, you'll have 5 seconds to think it over, and then boom, we'll look at the answer together. So, are you ready? Let's begin. All right, let's get this show on the road with part one. This is all about the fundamentals, what fuels are and where we actually get all our energy from. Your first question is coming up right now. Okay, first up, a big one. What is a fuel? I mean, really, what's the definition? Go ahead, think about it for a sec. And the answer is, it's a substance that is burned or eaten to provide energy. That's right. So the really important thing to remember is that fuels aren't just for cars. The food you eat is fuel for your body, and wood in a fireplace is fuel for the fire. Okay, get ready, because this one's a double whammy. Can you name the 3 main types of fossil fuels? And do you remember where they come from? The clock starts now. And time's up. The 3 main fossil fuels are petrol or diesel, gas, and coal. And where do they come from? Well, they're basically ancient leftovers, formed from plants and animals that lived millions and millions of years ago. That's why we call them fossil fuels. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, let's think a little closer to home now. Picture your house. What are a couple of fuels that people use for light or to keep warm when it gets chilly? And look at all these options. You could have said wood, gas, coal, paraffin, even candle wax. Seriously, if you got any 2 of these, give yourself a pat on the back. You nailed it. All right, let's talk electricity. 2 quick questions for you. First, what's the main fuel that powers most of South Africa? And second, what kind of magic do solar panels perform with sunlight? You've got 5 seconds. Did you get them? The main fuel for South Africa's electricity is coal. And those amazing solar panels, they take the sun's light energy and zap it directly into electrical energy. So cool. Okay, here we are, the last 2 questions for part 1. First, how do we measure the energy in your food? And what's the special name for energy that's just waiting around to be used? Let's check those answers. We measure the energy in food using joules, or kilojoules for kilojoules. And that saved up energy, we call it stored energy, or sometimes you'll hear it called potential energy. It's got the potential to make something happen. Get it? Wow, you are on fire. You're doing an amazing job. Okay, let's level up for part 2. We're going to talk all about energy transfer. That's how energy moves around and changes. This is where things get really interesting. Okay, first question for this new section. What's the real difference between input energy and output energy? The clue is right there in the words, in and out. What do you think? And it really is that simple. Input energy is just the energy that goes into something, and output energy, that's what comes out. So think about it like this. When you wind up a toy car, that winding action is the input. The car rolling across the floor, that's the output. All right, let's test that memory of yours. There are 5 different forms of energy that you've been learning about. Can you list them all? Let's see how many you can get. And there they are. You've got movement energy, sound energy, electrical energy, light energy, and of course, stored energy, packed away just like in a battery. Did you get all 5? Okay, let's put this into action. Think about a regular light bulb. What kind of energy do you have to put in to make it work, and what 2 kinds of energy come out? This is such a great example of energy flow. So the input is electrical energy, right? The useful output, the reason we turn it on, is light energy. But there's also what we call a wasted output. In this case, it's heat energy. And you know this is true. If you've ever carefully touched a light bulb that's been on, you know it can get super hot. Okay, here we are. The grand finale. The last 2 questions of our quiz. These are really important ones. First, what do you need to add to a fuel to make it burn? And second, what's that golden rule, that big law of science about energy? And the final answers are in. To make a fuel burn, you absolutely need to add heat energy. And that huge, important law of energy? It says, energy cannot be created or destroyed, only changed from one form to another. Never forget that one, it's a really big deal. And you did it! The quiz is complete. That is awesome. We covered everything from fossil fuels to how energy changes form. You should be super proud of yourself. So, before we wrap up, let's just quickly go over the most important things to remember. Number 1, fuels are what give us energy. Number 2, fossil fuels come from super old plants and animals. And number 3, the golden rule. Energy isn't created or destroyed, it just transforms. You've put in the work, you've gone through all the questions, and you are totally ready for this exam. So walk in there feeling confident. You've got this. Best of luck.